Hey there, crafty crafters. Welcome back to another episode of Catherine's Crafty Creations. And I'm Catherine. Today we're going to do DTF sublimation hacks. That means that we're going to use a regular printer that we have converted to sublimation. We've used a Epson EcoTank 2720 and we've placed Cosmos ink in it. And now it is a sublimation printer. Be mindful that once you use sublimation ink in your Epson, your warranty is no longer covering that printer. So just be mindful of that. So today we're going to use the direct to film hack. We're going to use direct to film film. Okay, you can get this at Walmart or go on Amazon. So making sure you can see that. It's kind of out of focus. All right, we also have the Godora transfer powder. We're going to use that today. And we're going to use this tray to place and apply the powder. And we got this, of course, off of an aluminum, usually aluminum pan that you see around the holidays. So we're going to use these three in our printer, and we're going to use the DTF hack. It's going to look like a direct-to-film print, and it's not going to be in the fabric like it normally is with sublimation. It'll be in the fabric, but it'll also be on top of it, and so it's going to be looking fabulous, okay? So let's get started. Well, first we'll make our design, and we're in Photoshop 2021. And we're going to go in and we're going to find the image that I want. And I want this image of someone sipping tea in pink. And once I select this image, I will copy it under File. And I copy and I go back over to the image, the printed image, which is Mind the Business That Pays Me, Minding the Business That Pays Me. And I'm going to add the image with paste. Why can't I find paste? There it is. And I paste it onto the image. And I bring it down, making sure I've selected it in my left bar. And I put it in the center where I want it. And she looks perfect. I love her. I'm going to keep her just like she is. Move the letters over just a little bit. And now, we're going to use direct to film transfer film, DTF. And notice that it says that it's stacked in there with the face up so we know which side is up. So make sure you read that when you get to the labels. You take out these sheets. Now, these sheets tend to not print by themselves if they're in the printer alone. So what we do is we take a regular sheet of 8.5 by 11, because they are not 8.5 by 11, they're a little smaller, and we attach the sheet to it using painter's tape. You can actually not do this part. You can leave the painter's tape out, but I am choosing to do it because I saw it somewhere. For some people, this does not work depending on their printer, because their printer rejects it and just passes the sheet right on through. So for you, you may not need it at all, but you will need a thick stack of paper behind it. So we're going to continue with the printing. We're going to set it on the back of the regular sheet on the back, and we're going to tape it on. And once we've done that, we'll attach it, and then we'll stop. Let's go over now to the printer. We make sure that when we're printing, we have the entire, a very thick stack of paper behind the film, because a thick stack of paper will make sure the film goes right on through. And you can barely see the film because it's slid right into the printer there. So now, here we are. We have our image out. It's nice and wet, and you want to do this while the image is still wet. It's going to look a little spotty. That's okay, because it is liquid ink on film. So it's going to look a little wet. Don't touch it. Make sure you don't touch it. All right, we're going to put our DTF powder on here. I put a hefty amount. It says not to put a whole lot, but I put enough on there. Probably shouldn't have put as much as I did put on there, because it does look a little thick when I did that. So we make sure that the powder covers the entire image. We slide the paper side to side and make sure the powder covers the image. The tray will catch the excess powder. We make sure the DTF is everywhere that the image is. And remember, the image is wet, so be careful with your fingers, making sure it doesn't smudge. I may have smudged it, I don't know, because I see in my image that I do have a little smudge print here. But now I've done it one time. I'm going to do it again, only I'm going to this way. I'm going to crosswise. First time I did the short top to bottom. Now I'm doing it side to side and going up and down the side. Just a little bit more. And we're going to slide sideways and cover the powder all over the image, making sure the image is covered. Once the image is covered, put the powder back into the tray and place it under the heat for just a second as I put the powder back into the tray, into its container. Now, before I place anything on sublimation or anything with ink, I always put a cardboard t-shirt cardboard cutout inside of my t-shirt so that the image does not go to the other side. Keep in mind, this is a cotton shirt, not a polyester shirt like most sublimation is done on. So this is what makes it so awesome, is that it's cotton shirt. We use our roller to make sure there's no lint. Always use your roller no matter what. Even if it looks like it's fine, it may not be. So make sure you use your roller. And as we always do, we make sure that our t-shirt is straight. So we press it a little first, just for a few seconds, and make sure that the surface is clear and straight. And now we'll put our image on, placing it the way it's supposed to be, with the powder side down. And excuse me as I cross the image, cross the screen. And we're going to secure our image with the tape on both sides. And once that's done, and I don't burn my knuckle at the top of the press, as I often do, like I just did, I put my butcher paper on top, and I place my Teflon sheet on top of my butcher paper. This protects the top of my press. And we press for 385 degrees and 40 seconds. And with the magic of television, it's ready. And so we take our image off. This is a cold peel. Please be careful. Don't do what I just did, which is lift that up, and don't do that. I did that. That was wrong. It's a cold peel, so it must cool down. So what you do is you take it off of the press, take the cardboard out of the t-shirt, as I'm doing right here, and try not to do what I just did by lifting the film up like I just did. That's wrong. That messes with your image, so that's a mistake. But you know better now. So I pressed it back down with my fingers, and I took it away from the press. I used my roller to try to press it down a little harder because I knew I messed up. And now I put my shirt on because it looks great. And the image, it feels like vinyl, but it's not. But it feels like it. It's sublimation ink, DTF powder, and it looks great. You can see on the right there that there is a little tiny smudge because my fingers, my roller on my printer and my fingers touched it. But it turned out just fine. And it's on cotton, y'all. We use sublimation ink on cotton using DTF powder, and it looks just like a vinyl print. So this is a DTF hack. It looks great. I hope you do the same thing that I just did. Just don't make the mistakes that I made, like the little smudge right there. But other than that smudge, everything looks fantastic.